Sometimes the moments that feel like they would destroy us are the very moments that shape who we are becoming. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever gone through something in life that felt completely unfair, but later found yourself wondering, was it injustice or did I somehow put myself in this situation? Sometimes our lowest moment forces us to ask the hardest questions about ourselves, our choices, and even the system around us. There was a time in my life I found myself asking that question. Today, I want to share how this difficult moment in my life led me to ask that powerful question. Was it injustice or was it purpose? First, I'll tell you guys about the instability and hardship I was facing at the time. Second, I'll explain the humiliation and emotional breaking point that followed. And finally, I'll share how the painful experience led to redemption, accountability, and growth through faith. First, let me talk about the instability I was facing during the time in my life. Everything felt like it was changing very quickly. My son and I were staying with my father because I didn't have stable housing, and I was trying to rebuild the stability for the both of us. Around the same time, my car had been damaged and was supposed to be getting repaired through an insurance company. It was a scam. Instead of repairing my car, they gave me a rental vehicle and kept telling me the repairs were being handled, but never was. Weeks passed, but my car was still never fixed, and I made the frustrating decision to keep the rental car. Eventually, that situation turned to a bigger problem with the rental car being reported stolen. All of this was happening during a time when my life already felt unstable and overwhelming. Then one day I was driving and all I seen was flashing lights actually behind me. My heart immediately started racing because I had no idea what was about to happen. When the officers approached my car and told me the vehicle had been reported stolen, I was shook. In that moment, I felt confused, scared, and completely powerless. And the only question running through my mind was, how did I end up here? That was the moment I began asking myself the question that stayed with me until this day. Was it injustice or had I made this choice that placed me here? Now that I've explained instability and hardship, I want to explain next the point, basically moving towards humiliation and the emotional breaking point that followed. When I told the officer I was exercising my right to remain silent, the situation became even more humiliating. Instead of handling the situation professionally, they drove me through the projects playing loud cartoon music saying, "We got us one." In that moment, I felt completely disrespected and dehumanized. But the humiliation didn't stop there. When I was taken to the women's jail, I was falsely accused of another crime, and they told the jailers that they seen me in the park loitering. The accusation added another layer to the judgment to an already overwhelming situation. But the emotional pain went even deeper. When my family began calling to find out what happened to me, they were told something that was completely false, that I had been arrested for prostitution. Hearing that accusation attached to my name was devastating. Many people in my family struggled to believe me, which made the situation even more painful. But two people stood firmly beside me during this time, my mother and my father. My mother believed me because she knew my character. And my father spoke about the situation in church at a sermon and reminded me of something that I will never forget. Even when people doubt you, God knows the truth. That reminder helped me hold my head up during a very humiliating moment in time in my life. Although that experience was deeply painful, it also became the beginning of something unexpected. Even during the lowest moments in my life, I was not alone. My parents continued to support me when others doubted me, and their encouragement helped me move forward. Eventually, I met a lawyer who helped me expunge my record and clear my name. The moment did not just change my legal situation, it changed my perspective. It taught me resilience, accountability, and it strengthened my faith. Today, I have shared the important parts of this story. Three important parts. First, I talked about the instability and hardship I was facing during the time of my life. Second, I explained the humiliation and emotional breaking point that followed. And third, I shared how a painful experience eventually led to redemption, accountability, growth through faith. Looking back now at the moment that felt like the lowest point in my life, for a long time I kept asking myself the same question: was it injustice or was it me? Over time, I realized something important. Yes, we must take responsibility for the choices that we make in life, but no one has the right to treat others unfairly. No one has the right to be racist, and no one should ever feel insecure about recognizing when they've been treated wrong. At the same time, life also it teaches us to reflect on the roles that we play in the circumstances in our life. This experience taught me both. And just like the Bible reminds us, Romans 8:28, even our hardest moments can work for the greater purpose, because once what felt like injustice became the moment that built my strength. Thank you.